this matter now, which has engaged the attention of Guyanese in Guyana and the diaspora over the past week or so. I refer to this serving of summons issue. I refer to the serving of summons issue. And let me talk about this service of summons. What we understand is that the police applied for summonses for Rickford Burke, who lives in the United States of America and who is accused of committing cybercrime. In other words, he hadn't been in Guyana since 1998, but they claim that he used a computer system to commit cybercrime. The police applied to the magistrate for a summon. The summon was issued. Now, let me say the first thing. Applying for summons is not something unusual. Issuing a summons by the magistrate is not something unusual. I referred, in my case, they had applied for summons, the summons was issued. And when I turned up in response to the summons, they tried to arrest me. Now, let's understand, and this is where the teaching comes in. Let's understand that the magistrate, once the magistrate issues a summons, the magistrate don't get involved in service. The magistrates do not get involved in service. An allegation is made, you apply for the summons, the magistrate issues the summons. Summons is then served by a member of the police force. And that is the law. Police force will serve the summons. Back in the day, you have rural constables attached to the station. That was one of their primary responsibility, primary role. Because when a summons is issued for someone in a district, the rural constable is supposed to be from that district. And therefore, the rural constable is familiar with the defendant. The rural constable will then serve the summons on the defendant. The police, I want to walk you through this thing. The police issued a release. Well, let me tell you that what happened then is that once the summons was issued, and this is the unbelievable part, the police, the Guyana police force, sent a police officer, a gazetted officer, Sabaro, I think is his name. He's an assistant superintendent of police. Sent him to the United States of America to attempt or to serve a summons. Well, they sent him to serve. That is what they sent him for, to serve a summons to Rickford Burke in the United States of America. Understand this, people. Understand it. So this officer now traveled from Guyana to the United States of America for the sole purpose of executing this summons. You see the tape with all sort of things will go on there and so on. We can talk about it later. But let me say this. There is no way, because I see people dancing and saying all sort of things. There's no way that an officer from the Guyana Police Force can book a flight to US. I understand he spent some time, get hotel and all this everything to serve a summons. This had to be sanctioned at a very high level. This and let me say this: you would not expect me to defend the extended squatter, but I'm dealing with facts. The extended squatter, and here I refer to the man who sits in the chair of the Commissioner of Police, cannot take it upon himself to send a rank to the United States to serve a summons on anyone, including Burke. Cannot. So this had to have political direction. Political direction for him to come and to serve this summons. And then it raises another interesting question. What did he tell the immigration authorities was his purpose of coming to the United States or for visiting the United States? Because I'm sure that he is not a citizen. I am sure that he is not a lawful permanent resident, or as we say, you get a green card. I'm sure that he would have traveled on a visitor's or a tourist visa. And the question, therefore, is whether this man violated the conditions of his visa to come and to serve this summons. Now, the police then issued a release to say that the summons was read to the defendant, and the defendant said, this is more that he understood. Right away, I said a lie. Right away, I said, without seeing any other thing, I say they lie. Because CC can come in shortly. You don't read summons to nobody when you got to serve a summons. You have a warrant. It's a warrant, yes, you're required to read the warrant and so on. When you go to serve a summons, you apply that blue paper. That blue paper, we used to say, is a dangerous thing. Because when you commit yourself, when someone committed him or herself and believe that the matter was over, then sometime down the road, a week, 2 weeks down, you give them the summons. And they used to shake up the sense and the nonsense. But you just go and you give them the summons. There's no requirement for you to read the summons to them. You give the stuff. For the time they tell me or they reported that the summons was read to this man, and you say, you understand? I said, lie. I said, that is lie. I said, it's corporate propaganda unit telling lies. And anyone who knows the system will know that they are telling lies. Personal service, you just give to the person. And again, personal service also says, and that's what you are taught this in training school, that if the purse is not there, you leave it at its last and usual place of abode with someone of reasonable age. And when that is the time when you're required to read the summons to the person who is you're leaving it on behalf of the defendant, and then you will ask them to make sure that it is given to the defendant as soon as possible. We were taught these things in training school, my brother, how you effect service of a summons, how you effect service of a warrant. So when they're telling you that this thing was read and understood, and the man say, you understand, I said, they lie. I said right away that they lie. So, all right, I think the return date is the 24th of March, 20. Well, no, the light one, a signature is not required for summons. You don't require a signature for summons. You just leave it to the person. You're going to get no signature. Let me understand this thing clearly. This is policing we're talking about here. There is no requirement for you to get a signature from the defendant when you're serving a summons to him. No requirement of a signature. So let me get this clear. There's no doubt. You just leave it. You just give it to the post. You don't have to have a signature. And we're going to explain later what happens. And let me explain it now, because when the matter comes up, as this one is expected to come up on the 24th, the case is going to be called. And if the person does not turn up, the light one, don't label this one. There is no requirement for a you're not talking about Guyana. I'm talking about Guyana. There's no requirement for a signature when a summon is served. There is no requirement for a signature when a summon is served, right? So what happens then is that when the matter comes up, you call. If the service is effective, the defendant might appear and answer to the charge. If the defendant fails to appear in answer to the summon, then the prosecutor will advise the magistrate that the summon was served and the defendant did not appear. And most likely the prosecutor will then ask for an arrest warrant to be issued. Now you have what we call return of service. Return of service. So you have to have a return to show that this summon was served. In this case, the police officer who went to the US to serve will have to go into the witness box. He will have to then swear and say how the service was effective. You got to go in the box. So let me hear we go in the box when the 24th of March come and say that he effective service in the United States. He got to go into the box and tell the magistrate that he effected service on Rickford Burke in the United States of America. That is what he has to do. Hold the Bible and swear. Now, a lot of issue will jump up immediately because he got to be tying up his own self, because actually he can be admitting that he violated the conditions of his visa. He admitted an oath that he violated. I anticipate that at that stage, you're going to get a firestorm of legal challenges. So if the return of service, there's also a case with affidavit and all of that. of service. If it is that he goes in and he convinces the magistrate, or the magistrate accepts that the process was served, if he accepts that the process was served, then what happens? Then the magistrate can go ahead and issue a warrant for the person to be arrested. Right? The magistrate can issue a warrant for the arrest of the person. If the person is arrested, well, you know, the matter proceeds. He appears before the magistrate. If the person is not arrested, then the prosecutor might then make an application for the matter to be tried ex parte, that is, behind the person's back. Right? That can be done. But I've said a lot. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to have his say as well. As a former commander, I'm sure he was a process man and all of that. He understands the process. CC, let's get some clarification. Tell them what happens with a summons.
Yeah, and apart from being a commander, I was a process man. I was a summons man. I was an orderly for several magistrates, who turned judges and all kind of thing there. But let me put things in proper context. This thing started with an illegal action, so anything that flows after them got to be illegal. A man used to say fraud is fraud. I cannot see, or there's no authority for a magistrate in Guyana to sign a summons, a defendant summons for someone with an address in the United States of America. There is no authority there. I saw some letters being written about the place, and people talking about common law and according to common law doctrine. But common law is based on case laws, and it's based on judicial precedents. And nobody has come up with anything to show where a summons originating from Guyana could be served on somebody in the United States of America. Now, as you, just to mention some of the things, or restate some of the things that you mentioned, Paul. Yes, the police will apply for a summons, and the magistrate will sign. And in this instant case, I don't know if he didn't read it, because sometimes some magistrates sign blindly, you know. We get summons here and they just sign, and that's it. But when you're in the legal field and you just have to check everything. At the last episode, I said that you got to be meticulous, and there's no substitute for checking. You have to check. Checking. Inspection is an indispensable tool of management, that you got to inspect things come to you before you put your signature there. You are entitled for everything above you. You are responsible for everything above your signature. So here's it. Magistrate signing for a summon to be served on somebody who is overseas, and overseas address after an application was made by the police. Now, when serving summons, is either you serve personally on the person, or you leave it, and according to the law, you say leave it with someone, or someone of discriminate age, having read and explained the nature of the document and requested an early delivery. At his last and unusual place of abode, not at his office, not at his workplace, and they gotta send with somebody of discriminate age, a big person, a person who age, and ask them to make an early delivery. In many cases, I go in the witness box and give that I saw it with John Jones, male East Indian, brother of this body. I read and explained the nature of the document, and explained and requested an early delivery. So after you have solved that summons there, if it's within your station district or your jurisdiction, your station district, you will make what we call a return of service. If the summons originated from another district, you have to go in front of Justice of the Peace and swear to what we call an affidavit. You have to swear to an affidavit as long as it originated from some other district. And also, if it is of private nature, you also uh, uh, have to sign to an affidavit. Those things will go to the magistrate, clerk, who will eventually bring it to the attention of the magistrate. And there and then, the magistrate has two options. He can issue a warrant, or he can say ex parte trial, as long as he's satisfied that the service was proper, that you have proper service. And for those policemen, check the police standing order number 77. It deals with service of summons. And the commissioner, whoever he or she be, is entitled to establish standing orders or SOP, standing operation procedure, to enforce the law. But those standing orders or SOP must fall within the ambit of the law. They must fit neatly. There must be no room for them to wriggle out. The standing order must comply with the law. And here is it. A man, an assistant superintendent, left Guyana and gone to New York and said that he served personally a summons on Rickford Park. I saw some tape, and I don't know if they doctored the tape or they used Pegasus to turn off microphones, to turn off cameras, but Sarbu is nowhere in that tape. And I'm talking about the tape that Critic published, that they released a Critic. Sarbu is nowhere at all. So, you could say solve the summons on Bork. And we got to be careful that there are state laws and there and there are other laws in the thing that a police from New York can go to Washington and execute no warrant or serve no summons. But in Guyana, a policeman, a constable, is entitled to serve summons any part in the 83,000 square miles of Guyana. Not the 83 as this extended squad is in. Anywhere in Guyana, including Essequibo, which Venezuela is claiming, that a policeman is covered by law to serve that summons anywhere in Guyana. There's no, I've been reading and I've been checking, there's no real reciprocal agreement with Guyana or any other country that I've seen or read somewhere along there where they have a reciprocal arrangement for them to serve summons in another country. I recently had a copy of the we call the Foreign Judgment Reciprocal Enforcement Act number 2023, Act number 9 of 2023, which was signed by President Muhammad Ali on the 2nd of August 2023. And it talks nothing about magistrate court. It has nothing and nothing about magistrate court and nothing about summons, nothing but warrants. And here what the act says: an act to repeal the Foreign Judgments Reciprocal Enforcement Act and to make new provisions for the enforcement of foreign judgment given in countries outside of Guyana, which accord reciprocal treatment to judgment given in Guyana and for related matters. And they talk about a whole lot of other things like judgment debtor, judgment creditor, judgment given by court, and all that thing. People could read this. I think it costs, if you go to the Attorney General office or the Parliament building, it costs $1,820, and it's available. So we don't have no reciprocal arrangement, no way. Let them bring the law. Let them bring the case law. Let them bring the precedents, the judicial precedent, to show that it can be solved thing. Someone, I see them lawyer that is going to solve in any part of the world. No way. It cannot be done. Anything has got to be reciprocal arrangements. And Paul, as we discussed a couple of days ago, even the arrangement with Suriname, we want somebody in Suriname. We can't go to Suriname and arrest him. We got to wait till Suriname arrest him and bring him to Molson Creek or